This is George Dionne for KNAC.com, and I'm here with Robb Weir, guitarist for the band Tygers of Pan Tang. If I knew absolutely nothing about Tygers of Pan Tang, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Consistent hard rock and roll.
I'd have to agree with that. And keeping with that consistency, you've released an EP entitled A New Heartbeat through Mighty Music. It's out now in physical copies and out on digital April 22nd. Is there a reason that there's two different release dates for the availability?
Yeah, very, very much so. We elected not to go digital straight away because we just wanted it available as hard copy. It's available as a 4-track CD with a nice, a nice package, and it's also available as a 12-inch 4-track LP, EP. Again, when you're buying that, you're buying the lovely artwork and all the hard work that's got into that.
I think a lot of bands these days, especially ones that have been around for a while, are kind of returning to hard physical copies because that's kind of plays to their audience that grew up with them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can remember going to the record shop and buying, Burn by Deep Purple or Fandango by ZZ Top, and coming home delighted with this tremendous LP in my hand and playing it on my parents' stereogram with my headphones on, and just looking through the sleeve and looking at what the guys were wearing and the guitars they were playing and what the amplifiers and speakers in the background, and maybe I don't know, somebody in the audience, or I don't know. And by the time you'd scanned it all and you'd read the notes and all the thank yous and God bless yous and one thing or another, the needle was clicking, at the end of side one, and you hadn't even really heard it, so you just had to put it back on track one again and start again. And it was just, there was a lot of time and effort went into making those record sleeves. And when we became digital and we got CDs and all this kind of stuff, I think some of it was lost. And then when we went further and became digital, what's digital? I often ask this question, and nobody's really got a definitive answer. And I'll ask you as well. When you download, I don't download. I don't think I know how to. I've never downloaded anything. I just don't do it. I'm pleased that 4.1 million people downloaded our music last year, but it wasn't me. I come from a different time and a different era. But anyway, that's for another day. When you download something, when you pay your whatever it is, your 99 cents or your $1.50 or whatever it is, and you download something, what have you actually got?
Exactly.
What have you downloaded? Have you downloaded what? Fresh air? Because it's not tangible. It's you can't touch it. It goes on a device, and from that device you play it, which is why I'm so much in favor of, if you like something, go out and buy the product, because you get all that lovely artwork, you get all that blood, sweat and tears that's been put into it. You get the full picture, if you like. Whereas a download, you're probably getting 3 or 4 pieces of the jigsaw, but when you go out and buy the article, you're getting the full 500 pieces.
Exactly. And I think that there's a portability aspect to downloading or streaming or stuff like that. But, someone like me that grew up with physical media, much like you did, I'll use streaming now to preview something, so that way I'm not disappointed. Because I'll say, as a consumer, there was certainly a lot of CDs I bought in the past that had 1 or 2 good songs after I purchased it for $20. And I was like, what the hell is this shit?
Yes. Yeah. And I've gone out and bought albums that have been 35 minutes long. and you think, oh, right. I wonder if I've just bought the first disc and the second one, they didn't put it in the bag at the shop. So I completely get that. I really do. But you still have something tangible. You still have something to put into your record cabinet, or your CD holder, whatever, and you still have a reference. You still have a go-to, rather than scroll through something on your phone, and look for a name and play it. I just, I don't know, old-fashioned.
Yeah, hey, I recently, probably within the last 2 years, started going back to vinyl because I kind of wanted something to hold. And I'm like, digital, going through, all this stuff. It is kind of a pain, but I could see the pros and cons of it as a musician. How,
Yeah, no, I absolutely get it. I really do. But all I'm saying is it's not for me.
Fair enough.
In the tour bus, we're lucky enough still to have a CD player. So, everybody brings their own personal favorite CDs. And as we're driving, down the highways and byways, somebody will put a CD on and somebody will go, oh, well, not that again. But, hey ho.
So the new EP, New Heartbeat, is sort of a way to introduce the new band members. You have Francisco coming in on guitar, and you have Hugh coming in on bass.
On bass, although Hugh didn't actually record the bass on the EP, he joined just after we'd done the recordings.
Oh, okay.
So it was obviously the previous bass player, Gav Gray, is actually on the recording. That was like his last recording with us. And in fact, I recorded my guitar tracks at Gav's studio. So Gav didn't leave, we all left on the absolute, best of terms and friendship. Gav just didn't want to tour anymore. He was fed up with planes, trains, and automobiles. So that's I'm not saying he'll never get on one of those modes of transport again, but he'd done 12, 13 years with us. From South America to Japan. So, one week we played Chicago and Ibiza in the same week. So, we get about, that was a hell of a bike ride, I have to tell you. But so, Francesco, we held sort of virtual auditions because of the COVID thing, obviously. And we asked guitar players from all over the world, really. They appeared from all over the world to record a couple of songs on video and send them to our management. And then we all kind of looked at them. And Francesco's was tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And he's already proven his worth because when he joined the band, I shared with him the songs that I'd written, the music that I'd written, I should say, because a song is the full finished piece. So so the music the ideas that I'd had, and he co-wrote with me and added to them, and the material is pretty damn awesome, to be honest with you.
I agree. I'm digging the two new tunes, the A New Heartbeat and Red Mist, but you've also re-recorded a couple of older songs.
Yeah, well, when Francesco joined, we were always going to record a song from the past, along with two new songs, which was going to showcase Francesco and introduce some kind of him to the world. And I said, I called him and I said, what's your favorite track? Because whatever you choose, we'll record. And he said, oh, it's going to be Killers. And we said, okay, great. Well, we'll do that. And it was going to be a 3-track EP. And I had a kind of one of my undeniably either stupid or brilliant brainwaves. And I rang our manager, Tom, and I said, could it be a 4-track EP? And he said, yes, it could be. Why? And I said, well, because I've just got this burning passion to record Fire Clown. It's been asked for, throughout the years quite a lot. And we stopped playing it in 1981. I have no idea why, but we just did. And we've never played it since. Not only did we re-record it and were able to breathe a little bit of fresh life into it, as indeed we did with Killers, because there's 42 years worth of new technology in studios from when we did record them. So it's bound to be bigger and brighter and bolder and fatter and taller and longer and, all the wonderful expressions you can think of because of what's available to us now. So not only is it on the new EP, Fire Clown, it's also going to open up our new live show.
I noticed that the disc, or the album, if you will, was mixed by Harry Hess. Is this the same Harry Hess that fronts Harum Scarum?
Absolutely. Harry mastered it, yeah. It was mixed by Marco, and I always pronounce his name wrong. Sorry, Marco, Angioni. Again, another Italian, but living in Copenhagen. So it was mixed at his studio, and then we sent it across to Harry to be mastered, because Harry mastered the past 2 studio albums. Harry uses only analog. He doesn't use digital at all to master. The mastering process for me makes a record into a real record. I don't know whether that makes sense, but it's the magic at the very end of the process that you think you've got something unbelievable, and then this happens, and then you think, wow, okay, right, we've got a real record here now, so we are really, really, truly ready to go and share it with everybody.
Is this EP leading to a new full-length studio album?
Absolutely. And we are 5 songs into recording. 5 songs down, 7 more, or possibly 8 more to go. It'll be a 10-track album with different bonus tracks for different continents. So America will get track 11 will be different to Japan. Just talking amongst ourselves at the moment of possibly a 13th track, which just might surprise everybody what that is.
Have you come up with a title for the album yet?
We have, but it's just in not quite ready to share stage yet.
Typical heavy metal answer.
Sorry about that. Yes,
but I can't tell you.
We are going to play a track off the new album live as well. We've not really done that before. Bands do it, and I know people are going to get their camera phones out and record, video it and record it and stuff like that. But it's a kind of we're so excited about these songs. We just want to share one of them.
You're currently out on tour. You're doing a couple dates here and there right now.
We haven't played since March 2020. We were just starting to promote Ritual, and of course lockdown happened all over the world, and that was that. So our first show will be Pounding Metal Festival in Madrid on Saturday the 21st of May, which is 4 weeks away. And just to throw into the mix and hopefully make you smile and make everybody else smile, Francesco, our new guitar player, has been in the band a year. I've never met him. I've never sat in the same room as him or jammed guitar with him because of this wonderful thing called COVID. We've tried to fly him over about 3 times. And the UK have had restrictions. Germany's had restrictions. Although he's Italian and hails from Sardinia, he actually lives and works in the music industry just outside Dusseldorf. So the first time I'm going to get to meet young Francesco is 2 days before our headline show for 2 days of band rehearsals in Madrid. So no pressure.
None at all. Not for him.
No, it'll just all be a breeze.
I'm sure the festival will go off without a hitch too, because they haven't been running for a couple of years.
Yes, too. Yeah. I'm just debating on whether to wear some bike clips on my trousers just to catch any fallout. That's
You recently were awarded the Best New Wave of British Heavy Metal Award at the Hard Rock Hell Awards. I see that they gave you a nice plaque and a bottle of Jaeger. It seems like an award show I'd want to go to. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, do you know that was just completely out of the blue. I was contacted through our agent. Actually, initially sent me an email saying, "Hard Rock Hell, I've been trying to get a hold of you, so they've messaged me, and here's the contact. It could be interesting. Give them a ring." And that was it. And I thought, oh right, okay. Thinking to myself, well, Hard Rock Hell, our agent would book us for Hard Rock Hell. I couldn't understand what was going on. So I rang this guy called John, and he explained that we were, in the running for this award against other bands, and it had been voted for by all the listeners of the Hard Rock Hell radio station and the people that attend Hard Rock Hell concerts. And would I like to attend the award show? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I jumped in the car and drove 5 hours. I didn't think England was that big. They put me up on some fantastic accommodation. I attended the awards in my very best suit and bow tie. It was just a great night. And of course, when the nominations came up on the screen, and they said, "And the winner is," I nearly choked. So off I went up on the stage to accept the award, and our table, there were members of the public there as well, kind of sat behind us, and all the artists were all on various tables, around, and I was sat next to a lovely young couple who were in a two-piece punk band, and God, I can't remember the name of them. The young girl had a hip flask, and she had Ferrero Rocher flavored vodka in it from Poland, which I have to tell you, it was absolutely delicious. So that and Jaeger bombs and wine and lager, yeah, it was a good night.
You're on actually this year marks the 40th anniversary of The Cage, probably your most commercial album with your most successful single. I wanted to ask you what you remember about kind of making that album and the stuff that followed.
The Cage was one of those albums that, we didn't write an awful lot of material for The Cage, and unfortunately, that's the way that it was kind of heading with the record company. And that's the way that I didn't want it to head. I was quite happy with recording band-written songs. We had a proven track record. We had a number 13 album entry with Wildcat. We had a number 18 album entry with Spellbound. So that, to me, proves that the band could write, pretty good songs. The record company enlisted the help of a guy called Peter Collins, who'd never produced a hard rock band before. He was famed for pop-tastic groups like the Lambrettas and Alvin Stardust, and very much chart-orientated acts. So we were kind of like the guinea pigs, if you like. Had a great engineer called Phil Harding. Peter was managed by a very famous person. So we're sat, and I'll tell you the story. So we're sat in the Marquee Studios this morning, and all of a sudden we were listening back to what we'd recorded, and all of a sudden the door bursts open. I mean, like flies open. This big, heavy, soundproof door flies open, and in walks this big, bold, happy, red-cheeked gentleman, and he said, "Morning, boys. Morning, Peter." To which Peter Collins turned around and said, "Oh, morning." And he said, "Right, lads." And we all looked at each other and thought, who the hell's this? Coming into our session. He says, "Right, lads," he says, "I've got it. I have got it. This is what we're going to do with Paris by Air. That's going to be the new single off The Cage. And we're going to, and wait for it, this is going to sell 1 million. We're going to give away a free silver earring of the Eiffel Tower." And that was the silence. We all looked at each other, took a breath, and kind of said, but we didn't say it out loud. Who the flippin' heck are you? So he said, my name's Peter Waterman from Stockacre Waterman, songwriters, from Peter Waterman, the judge on talent shows. And Peter used to manage 5 or 6 big producers back in the day. One of his producers, obviously producing us, he'd been talking to MCA, our record company, and our management, and they'd all kind of like talk this through, this idea that he had, and in he came and sold it to us in that way. So of course, Paris by Air Julie came out with a free silver earring of the Eiffel Tower stuck to the front of it. Didn't quite sell 1 million copies though, not quite 1 million. But that was my encounter with Peter Waterman. Lovely fella, I have to say. Super enthusiastic, has a very successful track record. And it was that was a morning I shall never forget.
Well, let me ask you: do you guys get sick of playing Love Potion number 9?
No, you can't get sick of playing the song that probably put you where you are. When we were first, when it was first presented to our management, Tom, our manager, couldn't see it. He said, "Oh, I can't see them even agreeing to play it. Never mind being able to do a version of it." He played it to John Sykes and myself, and said, "What do you think?" And we looked at each other and said, "Okay, we'll give it a go." So we locked ourselves in a room. I came up with the front bit. John came up with like the middle bit of it. Our version was born, as they say, and I believe 3 or 4 years ago it was used on Dancing on Ice USA.
So shortly after the Cage, kind of things unraveled with Tygers of Pan Tang. But where I'm actually going with this is the internet's a little confusing on what happened to you after that. I found this band called Sargent from 1986, an album, Living in the Fast Lane. Some things on the internet say you were in the band, and other things on the internet don't include you in the band. So did you form a band named Sargent after Tygers of Pan Tang?
I did, with Brian, the Tygers drummer, and we recorded an album, got a deal. I actually went down to London with the fella who was kind of looking after us at the time, and we got a deal for the album with CBS, and we had to go down to London to play at the Marquee, and Muff Winwood, who was the CEO of CBS Records at the time, was going to come down, and we were going to sign the deal in the dressing room. And when we got back to Newcastle after our trip to London, we had a band meeting, and I was informed that I wasn't in the band anymore, and they were replacing me with a guitar player and a keyboard player. And I said, okay. Couldn't quite believe it. Colin and I got up. Colin was looking after us, got up and went to walk out. And the 3 band members said to Colin, "Oh, aren't you still, aren't we still going ahead with you?" And Colin said, "If Rob's not in the band, there's no band and there's no deal." And we rang up and we cancelled it the next morning. And that was the end of that. And the album is still recorded. I still have it. But whether it'll ever see the light of day, who knows?
So
the band did carry on with another guitar player and another keyboard player. I don't think anything was released. They opened up for Accept, I think. They did about 5 shows, and then it fell to bits.
Well, your current EP is fantastic. It's A New Heartbeat by Tygers of Pan Tang. It's out now. It'll be out digitally very soon. And I would actually encourage anyone to check out not just that, but your recent kind of best of or fan favorite album, Majors and Minors, which came out last year, kind of give people an idea of where the band is today.
Exactly. And that's exactly why we put that together. It's the last 4 albums, and of course all the albums which Jack has sung on. And we've just, rather than the record company choose the tracks, we chose the tracks. So it's our favorite tracks. I think we've kind of got it right.
I think so too. And that's all the questions I have for you today, Rob. Thanks for speaking with knac.com.
Thank you very much indeed. And may I wish all your viewers and listeners crikey, a very healthy and happy ongoing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, and whatever else you can get crossed, we'll be playing for some of you guys in the not too distant future.